Hi everyone, it's Stephanie.
It's Emily.
And today we're going to do a different video again, not a review. So we did a top 5 books that we like in 2016. So we had to do the opposite of that, which is the top 5 books we didn't really like so much in 2016. Again, I chose 3, she chose 2, and we're going to just take turns. They're not in any particular order, so don't be upset if you're like the first one or something. So my first pick for this one is Carry On by ROWELL. Funny enough, I actually picked the other book from her, Fangirl, in my top 5 for 2016, and Carry On is basically the spin-off version for that. So just to reiterate a little bit about Fangirl, basically it follows the story of Kath, who is a huge fan of a series called Simon Snow, and which is kind of like a rip-off version for Harry Potter. Like, that's my impression of it, because it's basically magicians, but like it's so similar to Harry Potter. You know, even has like the Hermione version called Penelope, and and like Ron's character, which is called Baz. Like, it's literally Simon, Baz, and Penelope. So that's about Fangirl talks about Kath and how she's a huge fan of the series and she writes fan fiction. And this fan fiction, she's trying to write like a long fan fiction, is basically Carry On by ROWELL. So for this book, you actually delve into the whole Simon Snow characters and his story, and I did not like it. I thought the plot to be very confusing. I didn't really understand what was going on for a lot of it. There were a lot of like plot twists between Simon, Baz, and Penelope, and it was just like really confusing. There's also way too many POVs, which is like point of views. So the main ones, like Simon, Penelope, and Baz, kind of made sense, but then there'll be like other ones for people who only show up at one time, which didn't really help develop the book. It just made things a lot more confusing, and there was really no reason for their viewpoints to be in the book in the first place. So I really disliked this book. I thought Fangirl was freaking amazing, but this one I was just like, this is Simon Snow. Like, it really made me wonder why Kath, like in Fangirl, is such a huge fan of this series. It was interesting to see how high Fangirl was in perspective to Carry On. So that was my first pick.
So my pick of last year, one of 2, is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and I picked it because I didn't finish it. I had it on audiobook, and I couldn't even finish it because of how droll the entire book really was. The first few chapters, it was really just discussing like Marie, this 12-year-old girl. She was 12, and then she's kind of in the midst of this dramatic war scene where the Germans are bombing Paris like Armageddon, basically Armageddon.
Right, it's set in World War II.
Yeah, it's happening in World War II. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And then, and so like she's actually trapped inside of a house, and they're trying to evacuate the entire city. And she, because she's blind, she's unable to very easily like identify like, oh, there's danger and there's these things. And then there's the other character who is sort of is a soldier, and he's working on the borderlines of the war, and I think he's like a correspondent through like.
And he's a German soldier?
Yeah, he's a German soldier.
Yeah,
and then
on the other side.
All right, and then they kind of like come together and how that sort of goes about. So this story is the premise was actually amazing. I thought it was there's something really along the lines of like atonement, because I really liked that story in terms of like, oh, there's a young character and it's a girl, and she's sort of very three-dimensional, but at the same time she has this little certain like handicap. In this case, literally.
Right.
This sort of drives the story, and that sort of innocence kind of gets you as a reader kind of like anxious. You're like, oh, I really want to make sure that she's safe. Yeah, that didn't happen. I was just kind of like, I didn't care after a while. It was just, I couldn't really get into the groove of it all for some reason. It just dragged and dragged and dragged.
Yeah. I actually want to put a note in there because I actually read this book.
I finished it.
I
read it.
Yeah,
I
finished it. So we both read it, listened to it via audiobooks, because it won like the audiobook award or whatever. So I was like, you know what, like, if I want to read this book, let me read it in like the format that it won an award for, and it was so dry. Like I literally struggled so much to finish it, and I only read it mainly because I had to finish a reading challenge that was like read a book about a war, and I picked this book already like for last year and this year. I never finished last year, so I was like, this year I have to finish this book. Like this is my pick. Like this, it won some sort of award for it, you know. Like it has to be a reason. And I listened to it, and I was just like, I was like dying. So my second pick for this book, for this video, is Tell the Story to Its End by Simon Clark. And it is considered as like a middle grade book, I would say, because the characters are more a little bit younger than like the average like YA novels. And basically it follows the story of this guy called Aaron and a little boy called Ollie. And Aaron is kind of this like monster. It's a little confusing as to what he actually is. So he's like this figure who lives in the attic, and he somehow has been there for years and years, and no one can really see him except for Ollie because he's a little boy. Something to do with like how he's young and stuff.
Like a boogeyman?
Yeah. So like, you know, Aaron would be like, oh, you should tell me stories, blah, blah, blah. So Ollie would just be like, you know, lonely, would go upstairs and like have conversations with him. So like that's literally the dialogue between the two of them. And Ollie comes into play because something happened in London where he lived originally, and so his mother brought him to the countryside to be with his uncle and his family. And you don't really hear much about what happened to like Ollie's father until the end. There's a little bit of mystery behind this whole thing. It was just really confusing because it was a weird book. Like I would like the one word that was summarized, it would be like odd. That's literally what this book was. Like it was just very strange. It was very confusing. The premise sounded interesting, it sounded promising, but that was not the case. And then like there was also no world building because it was just kind of like Ollie from London, stuck him to the countryside, Aaron is there, and done. And that's it. That's all the world building.
I always love it when writers just do teleportation.
Yeah.
So my last pick from last year is, in terms of what I didn't like, was the book Ember in the Ashes by SABAA TAHIR. And one of the reasons why I didn't really like it was that while it was very fulfilling in terms of world building, the characters were still a little dry and very cliche, and it really ran the course for me in terms of all the sort of dystopian novels that were already out there, and it didn't really stand out. Basically, the premise of the story is like scholars are being really badly mistreated because I think back in the day they were the ones who held all the knowledge and then were heavily suppressed. The characters had to like face obstacles. Like I couldn't understand like the romantic angle of the story in terms of bringing like the guy and the girl together. One's a servant, the other is like, again, like the border of like the chancellor. Like he's basically like the son of the chancellor, but even though they don't even get along, and the reason for not getting along doesn't even make sense really. Like they don't really dive in. She doesn't really dive into it, the author. So yeah, in general, consensus just not my thing.
Yeah, again, I also read this book. I think she purposely picked books that I also
I'm
read
nice.
as well.
Apparently she's not.
I know there's like a book 2 in the series, and I'm kind of like not really interested in picking it up, but like I think some of my book lovers might pick it up. So if they pick it up, I'll probably end up hearing a little about it, and then I might pick it up just to be like, let me check it out too. But it's not a book that I was kind of like happy with. So
yeah,
that's all.
Was a lot of your issues the same as mine? It was like
no, I just feel the plot was just not that interesting. Like the way, like okay, so like the way how she taught, like the premise, like the synopsis seemed really interesting, but I think the execution was just not the greatest. So it kind of like fell apart, and a lot of it was like kind of like a little cliche for dystopian novels. Is it considered dystopian? Yeah. So for dystopian novels, it was just kind of, it didn't really hit home for me, you know, and it was like dystopian these days as a genre has it's been a little overdone at this point. So when there is a good dystopian novel out there, I'm kind of like really happy about it because it's unique. But the thing is, a lot of it isn't unique anymore. A lot of the ideas has been used and reused, but like in different settings and different characters, but like the general plot is the same. So I think this one was just not, I don't know, just maybe if it was like consider a different genre or something like that, and a whole different plot, and like or the execution.
That's like getting rid of the book. A whole different plot, you guys.
A different plot, you know. So our final pick, or my final pick for this book, for this video, is Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez. The topics in the book were a little bit too strong for me. For example, and a little too strange as well. It's also weird. But basically, so the story follows this. It's about Naomi, who is a Hispanic girl, and she has two younger siblings, a brother and a sister, and their stepfather called Henry, and how they basically got uprooted. Naomi and her two siblings got uprooted to go live with her stepfather in like a more white neighborhood at that time, because this is based in the 1930s, by the way. So they basically got uprooted from their grandmother. Because my grandmother was like, you know what, like this will be a better, like, you know, future for you. You have more opportunities, etc., etc. Because her grandmother was also Hispanic, like Mexican. So, and at that time, there's still a lot of races going on at that time, and so basically, like Henry is white, and the siblings are his kids, and basically Naomi's step siblings. And Naomi herself is, you know, she's 100% Mexican. It was, her father was, you know, her mother's previous husband, and then I think something happened to them. They didn't really talk much into the story, but her mother ended up marrying Henry, and then they had, you know, Naomi's like younger siblings. So basically it was like people in the town somehow expected Henry and Naomi to get married, even though like they were a father and daughter. Like that's super weird, because I mean, even though you're not blood related, you're still father and daughter, you know, like that's really strange. Not to mention there's a huge age gap. It was just really weird, and like it was just, and like sometimes I forget if the book had Henry's perspective in it, but like you see from his kind of like his viewpoint, where it was talked about how he would think of Naomi as his mother, as her mother. So he'd be like, oh, she reminds me of, you know, like, you know, whatever her mother's name was, and like, oh, she's so beautiful. And I'm just like, that's kind of gross. It was, I didn't like the book. I thought it was a little bit too like serious for for me. I don't, yeah, like that, the context a little bit too serious for me, and I just didn't really like it. I never liked the characters as much. The plot was a little like strange to me, especially the whole like relationship between Henry and Naomi. Like it's really weird. I know you're counting how many weirds I say. But yeah,
I've lost count.
But yeah, I don't know. That was definitely my like one of my least favorite books of 2016. Hey everyone, so that is the end of the so that concludes our video. If you're interested in reading more about the books, check out the Goodreads link. I will include all the links below, as well as my review for my picks on my blog, so you can check all of those out. So basically, on a totally irrelevant point, I mentioned in a different video, but I also want to say that my giveaway is still ongoing. You can enter until May 1st. And you can win up to 10 books. So I will include that link down below as well if you want to go enter. And good luck. All right, everyone. Bye.